You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work.
That name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today?
I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born, I got the name, fresh out the womb, and I just try to, live in that purpose, every day since.
So a Babalawo is a priest or diviner in the Yoruba religion.
What you should know about this moment is that the BAFTAs were not streamed live. So they saw this happen in real time. Then when they edited together their broadcast, they decided to leave.
God is good. God is good.
What if the moment that was supposed to break him was actually the price he had to pay to win? 1 month, one man. To moments that shook Hollywood. First, he stood on a stage in London while a racial slur was screamed at him on live television. He said nothing. He did nothing. He just stood there. For weeks later, he was holding an Oscar. And the question nobody in mainstream media wants to answer is this: was any of it an accident? Let's go back to the beginning. Last month, MichaelBJordan and Delroy Lindo attended the BAFTA Awards in London. One of the most prestigious nights in cinema. Cameras rolling, the world watching, and then it happened. A man in the audience screamed a racial slur directly at them on camera, in front of everyone. Now here's what makes this even more disturbing. The event was pre-recorded. The BBC had a 2-hour delay, 2 hours, more than enough time to cut it, mute it, or bury it entirely. But here's the thing, they aired it anyway, and both men had to stand there, silently, in front of the entire world, and endure it. Now fast forward exactly 4 weeks. Same actor, same movie, different continent. MichaelBJordan walks up to that stage at the Academy Awards and receives the Best Actor award. A standing ovation. His first nomination. His first win. The crowd on their feet. From humiliation in London to triumph in Hollywood in less than a month. Coincidence? Maybe, but not everyone thinks so. And this is where it gets interesting. Cat Williams, a man who has made it his mission to say what the industry doesn't want said, has a very specific theory about moments exactly like this. He believes the entertainment industry doesn't just reward talent. It decides when to humiliate a black artist.
Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilization.
And it decides when to elevate one, his words, not mine, but keep them in the back of your mind, because some people online took it even further. There are claims that the Oscars ceremony itself carries ritualistic symbolism, that the Oscar statue bears a striking resemblance to an ancient Egyptian deity called Soker. Oscar, the wordplay alone has sent conspiracy corners of the internet into overdrive. Hidden symbols, ancient ritual, a Hollywood machine older and stranger than any of us know. Now, apply that theory to MichaelBJordan. The claim goes like this: the Oscar wasn't just an award.
And the Oscar goes to MichaelBJordan.
It was a reward. And the BAFTA incident wasn't just a mistake. It was the price. But let's look at the details that don't quite sit right. The man who shouted the slur was reportedly suffering from Tourette's syndrome. That was the media's explanation. That was the narrative handed to the public. And just like that, the story moved on. But wait, how did a microphone pick up a man in the audience so clearly when he was reportedly sitting far from the stage? Why was the camera seemingly positioned to capture the reaction? And why, out of every moment in a long pre-recorded evening, did this one make it through a 2-hour delay window? The BBC called it a serious mistake. BAFTA issued an apology. And then, almost on cue, the world moved on. MichaelBJordan said nothing publicly, but Delroy Lindo did speak. He said he wished someone had checked on them. That quiet statement hit harder than any apology, but it doesn't stop there, because if you zoom out, you realize MichaelBJordan isn't the first name in this story. Think back to 2022. The Academy Awards. Will Smith, Chris Rock, one slap. Two careers changed forever. Will Smith was humiliated on the biggest stage in the world. And that same night, he won his Oscar, humiliation and reward in the same breath.
I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be.
But here's what happened after. Will Smith was banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either of us. I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
His film Emancipation underperformed. His public image shattered. Chris Rock, career revival. A blockbuster Netflix special. Sold out shows across the country. Someone paid. Someone benefited.
These circumstances are not... we see him as, oh, this is live. He said something about his wife and then he got mad and jeopardized his career. And then the other guy had to decide what he was going to do with his career. And then no, we have to understand that these are two giants in our field if you're a Black person.
Correct.
This is two guys, too big and too good to be involved in what they're in. These are when two large boulders come together and you can't see Chris Rock winning at all. He's humiliated. If you were going to slap a comedian, he was the number one to slap, head of the coons, so slappable. And if you're going to slap him, you just need the greatest guy, the bestest guy, the one who's shown us him being on his best behavior since the 90s. That guy is the one that would have to slap him. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money.
And the math is uncomfortably clean. Now look at the longer history. Hattie McDaniel in 1940, the first Black Oscar winner.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, fellow members of the motion picture industry, and honored guests. This is one of the happiest moments of my life. And I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards.
Forced to sit at a segregated table at her own celebration. Halle Berry in 2002, still the only Black woman to win Best Actress. For a role that many argued was designed to degrade, Monique won and was then blackballed for refusing to play the game.
Because if I had done something wrong contractually, they would have sued me. The reason why no one could do anything to me contractually, because they found out I did nothing wrong contractually.
Lupita Nyong'o won for playing a slave.
After I won that Academy Award, you think, oh, I'm gonna get lead roles here and there. Oh, Lupita, we'd like to play another movie where you're a slave, but this time you're on a slave ship. Those are the kinds of offers I was getting in the months after winning my Academy Award.
And was later offered roles that looked exactly the same. And then there's Jennifer Hudson. She won for Dreamgirls. Months later, 3 members of her family were murdered.
For the trial of the man accused of 3 family members of singer Jennifer Hudson. William Balfour is charged with the murder of Hudson's mother, brother, and 7-year-old nephew. She's expected to be in court every day, and she's also on the 300-name list of witnesses who will testify for the opening statements, which begin on April 23rd.
The internet connected those dots to the theory isn't just about awards. It's about power. Black artists can perform. They can star. They can entertain millions. But according to this theory, they are not meant to control the narrative. They are not meant to hold power behind the camera, behind the decisions, behind the machine. The award is the permission slip, but the humiliation is the reminder of who's really in control. MichaelBJordan's Oscar win is historic. It is genuinely remarkable, and no one can take that moment from him. But the question this story forces us to ask is a harder one. What did he have to endure first? Humiliation in London, reward in Hollywood, the same film, the same man, weeks apart. Maybe it's all coincidence. Maybe the world just works in strange and cruel timing sometimes. Or maybe, as Cat Williams would say, when something feels staged, it's because it is. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments, and I want you to be honest. Do you believe the BAFTA incident was a genuine mistake that happened to be followed by an Oscar win? Or do you think Hollywood has a pattern of breaking people down before building them back up? And we've just been too distracted to see it? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is far from over.